Hi everyone, this is Kieran Oversapien for Moonjump, and today we're having a look at the new feature inside Motive 3.1, which is all about creating trained marker sets. And it's actually quite exciting because this means we can basically track anything that we stick markers to. And in this case, we started testing this with a rope, and you can see if I just scrub through it, these are just the markers in the edit layout right now, but you can see we were just swinging around, swing them in circles. And essentially what we want to do with this new trained marker set, we can create bones going between each of these markers, and then we can export it to Maya or Motion Builder or Blender, whichever one program that you'd be comfortable with using. All right, so let's get started. It's fairly straightforward. Let's click and drag over our markers in the scene. You can right mouse click and say create marker set. Let's rename it quickly just so we don't get confused and call it a rope. And then we can right mouse click the rope, training and auto generate an asset. And you can come in, I have sticks turned off. You can see it's created the sticks. You can toggle between sticks pressing N on the keyboard. N for Nelly. And in here, once this is done, let's go scrub back to the start. And we can say training, add marker training. And then finally we can say training and auto generate bones. Now these bones are kind of going to be estimated. Let me just turn off sticks, pressing N. These bones are going to be estimated along the chain, and they're not helpful at all from what I've found. So essentially we need to go back and create the bones from scratch. So that is fairly easy. We can first just click one of these bones and control and click a marker. So holding control down with that bone selected, click a marker, right mouse click, say bones, add from markers, and you can see the new bone has popped up there. And we're just going to quickly go through and create bones from all these markers. We're going to work through and remove these bones because they're not on the position of the marker itself, which will lead to problems. So let's just remove that bone. We'll click a bone, add it there. Add from marker, click the bone, add it to a marker, and click a bone, add it to the marker, click a bone, and add it to that marker. And you can see this one I had two markers on either side. I thought that would help it. Let's just remove that one as well. And add from markers, and finally add from markers. Now, you're like, what's happening? All these bones are not pointing down like a chain. They're actually just kind of pointing to the side. You can see that they're all tracking properly. They're all in there, but they're not actually doing what they're supposed to. We need to actually create the chain leading to each next bone. So we can do that. Let's jump in here and say, click that bone, click the next bone, right click bones, and add bone chain. You can see that first bone now points to the second bone. Now let's do it to the next one. Oops, bones, add bone chain. And this is relatively new inside Motive, and there may be a better way of doing this. I hope there is, because if you had a lot of bones that you're tracking, it might get pretty tedious doing this. But from the documentation right now, I can't see any way to do it or to edit the bones like position. And there is, if you right mouse click on this asset in training, you can refine bone positions, but I find helps. See, let's do that. You can retrain it once the bones have been aligned, but it won't fix this bone. Oh, I missed a bone. Let's just fix that one. And bones, add bone chain. There you go. And this last bone, if we delete it, it's actually going to destroy the chain. So we could always, well, that's on there, but maybe we could fix it up later in the software. You can, if you press E, you can bring up the rotation, but I found this doesn't actually do anything for the bone. So there might be a better way of editing this last bone, because I can't see a way to actually make it continue the trajectory going down a bone chain. But for now, I guess we'll just leave it like that. And you can see that we have this nice chain going down there now. And if we play, you can see that the bones move correctly. Everything looks pretty nice. And then once we start spinning it, and just jump to it in this clip, you can see that the bones are tracking really nicely going around in a circle. So to finish this off inside Motive, to get it out to another location, we need to right mouse click, solve, and it will apply the bones to the data. And I was using this last clip inside the data pane, and let's right mouse click, you can right mouse click, export tracking data, and this is my test one. I can click rope export. Nothing's really changed. I didn't change anything. I've got export skeletons on, which will just export those bones for us. And let's just export that. Yes, that's fine for me. And then once that's done, let's jump over to Motion Builder and go open, rope export. And here you can see our created rope. And to get this better, I'm imagining we can just add more markers going along the bone chain that we want to create. But I'm still experimenting with maybe trying reflective tape, because putting markers at every single location would get pretty tedious going, like for these kind of things. But it's actually giving it really nice data for what it is. And the actual tracking is really nice. It gives you nice movement. You can definitely take this and apply it to a game character or into a movie scene or whatever you're editing this data for. But for now, that's just been a quick overview of the new trained marker sets inside Motive. Thanks for checking it out. I'll come back and post another video, maybe with a dog data. I was hoping to give that a try and see how that looks, or I'll try experimenting with different things inside Motive to see what kind of other data we can get out of it. But for now, thanks for checking that out, and I'll see you next time.